Hi, my name is Julia.
Hi, my name's Avea.
Hi, my name's Cassidy,
And
welcome to the Dope Student Podcast.
Today we're here with
Caitlin.
Okay, Caitlin, welcome to the Dope Student Podcast. To kick things off, can you briefly introduce yourself and share us what led you to your current role as an assistant project manager at Durapod?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Caitlin. I'm an assistant project manager. See, I stuttered too. Assistant project manager with PDM Durapods. And I've been in this role for almost a year now. What led me to this role is I initially started out with a local crane company. I was there for a couple of years. I did different things there. And I've been around construction all my life. My family owns a drywalling carpentry company, and so I just kind of decided to take the plunge and kind of get involved. And the prefabrication world is always evolving. So,
Okay, you've mentioned that you've been around construction all your life. What initially drew you into the construction field, and how did your first job at Crane Company prepare you for your current work in fabrication?
yeah, great question. So the crane company was a really neat start in the sense that cranes are used like every day, right? And we actually use cranes now a lot at my job for these prefabricated bathrooms that we're creating. I was telling the girls before the podcast, it's pretty neat. Like those little houses they make. It's kind of like that, and it's like a mini bathroom, and they're all built in our. It's over 100,000 square foot facility, right? So pretty big. Imagine a whole bunch of football fields together. And we do work for hospitals, and we do work for the Hard Rock Hotel, different hotels, Great Wolf Lodge, I'm sure some of you have heard of. And it's just all these mini bathrooms that are ready to go on site. And I call our local crane company that I used to work at numerous times, right? And we hire them to kind of crane these little pods in and put them in place in these buildings. So it's pretty neat.
You work in the exciting and relatively new field of prefab modular bathroom pods. Can you tell our listeners what exactly that entails and what makes it such a cool and interactive space to work in?
Yeah, absolutely. These are great questions. So the prefab world is really taking off. PDM Constructors has been around for a while, and they decided to go the Durapods route a few years ago, right? And what prefab does, it cuts down accidents, right, on the site. And also allows us to complete the work a lot faster. We're able to control the conditions and the environment, like when it's raining outside and snowing outside and those kind of conditions on the trade. These guys or girls, there's girls out there, which I love, are in the facility, right? So we're able to control those factors and kind of build these things a little bit quicker, which is neat. And it's really taking off, as we mentioned.
You mentioned that Durapods works on hospitals, hotels, and even components of homes. Can you share some of the most exciting and challenging projects you've been involved in? How does this work make an impact in the communities you serve?
Yeah, that's a great question also. So this summer, we started doing components for homes, which was really neat. We were a little slower this summer, so we were able to pick up other projects we necessarily wouldn't always do. So we're doing homes right now for a big company called U.S. Steel, and it's really neat. So you go out there and we're building these master bedrooms, right? Closets, master bathrooms, obviously. We're doing a fireplace room. It's just really cool to see in the sense that all these little components, they're going to go down to Alabama. They're building these houses in Alabama, and they'll put these components in place to make this house, which is really neat. One of our first projects, which to answer your questions was the most difficult, I would say, was we did over 800 pods for Ohio State University. That was our kind of first kickoff project. Obviously, a lot to learn, a lot of pods we had to complete. We're still over there, to be honest. This project has been going on for a few years now, but that kind of really took us off in the sense that, we can do this. We are one of the top prefab modular bathroom companies, and we plan to stay. So,
You believe that trades are excellent for high school students, especially those unsure of what to do after graduation. Can you explain some of the difficult career avenues within the trades that students might not know about?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm super passionate about this age group, especially teenagers, middle schoolers, trying to figure out what they want to do. Obviously, they have their whole lives to figure it out. I'm 34, and I'm still trying to figure out my way in life, right? But I think it's so awesome that you have this program here, that this teacher is willing to do this with you guys, because I will say I've had some struggles in my life, right? Which we all do. And being hands-on and being able to show up every day, right? Be accountable, be responsible. It's a skill you're never going to lose, right? In my company, you see a lot of people start off with carpentry, and instead of going to college, right, they jump right in the trades. And then today, they've grown in their profession in the sense that they were in the field for a decade, and now they've moved into the office, and they're being project managers. So once you gain a skill early on, as my mom always taught me, no one can take that skill away from you. So I think it's so great that if you don't know what you want to do, I think a trade is a great start.
The construction industry is always evolving. In your experience, what are some crucial skills or mindsets that young people should be aware of if they're thinking about pursuing a career in the trade?
Yeah. So with the trades, I think, and in life in general, to be honest, I think in my experience, when I've tried different career avenues, when you first start something, you might not necessarily always like it, right? To be honest, when I started at the crane business, the first 6 months, it was really hard for me. I was like, I don't know if this is right for me, right? And I just held on, right? And just like anything in life, sometimes things take time and patience. And so I say with the trades, that goes hand in hand as well. Like, as long as you're showing up every day, trying your best, right? It keeps you out of trouble, right? Makes your day go by faster. And your money, honey, and you make money at the same time in order to support yourself. Like I said, I'm 34. I don't have any kids. I live, by myself. I support myself financially, and that's due to partly, what I mean, the same mindsets they have in the trades and everyday jobs, in the sense that if you continue, to show up, right, and improve yourself, and you really can't go wrong. And my mom always taught me, I keep bringing my mom into this. Oh, my mom. An active mind is a healthy one, in the sense that I think it's so important for you to have a purpose in life, and a career, and especially in the trades, is a great place to start.
You mentioned that one of your personal challenges has been balancing off work with hands-on carpentry. Can you tell us more about your journey and how you stayed involved in trade side of construction despite your project managing role?
Yeah. So that's a good question. And in the sense that, so to become, I'm an assistant project manager, right? And I was fortunate in the sense that, I started off at that crane company and kind of gained experience, but I wanted to be doing more. I wanted to be more involved. And we can be seen as like, so the guys I work with in the office, they came from the trades, right? In the sense that they did carpentry work for decades, and then they came into the office, and I kind of came into the office without that experience. So, for example, when I came into your room today and you were doing those pro fittings, right? And I was like, I just learned how to do that. I'm very hands-on in the sense I don't want to be known just as an office girl, right? Like, I go out on our floor and I'm side by side by the carpenters, learning how to put those things together, right? Learning how to put the sinks and the different parts together. I'm very involved with our QA, QC program, which is quality control, to make sure everything is ready to go for these prefab modular bathrooms before they go out the door. So,
okay, what advice would you give to young people who's interested in the construction field, but maybe feels uncertain or hesitant about taking the plunge?
Yeah. So I would say to that, if you love to be hands-on and you love to stay busy, I think this is the perfect chance for you. My family, when I was in college, right, I didn't know what I wanted to do in the sense, and my family was always like, go into the trades, right? And I kind of pushed back on that, right? But, now looking back, I can understand why they wanted me to do that. Because, like I said earlier, it's a skill you're never going to lose, right? And also, like, college is expensive. I secretly am still paying off my student loans. You know what I mean? So again, trades is a good way to start. If you don't necessarily have the funds or you don't want to go to school, you know what I mean? You can pick up a skill in the trades, and there's plenty out there, like crane operators. I obviously being in a crane company, I know that they get top dollar and. They have a lot of safety and things that go into their job. And carpentry, obviously, what I'm doing now, they do like millwork, and we do things for like the King of Prussia Mall and the hotels in the city. And I just think it's a great avenue. If you don't know what you want to do, you know what I mean? Go into a trade. It'll keep your mind busy. It'll keep your mind focused. And again, it's something that you'll never lose and you can always have with you for the rest of your life.
You mentioned that your real-world experiences shaped who you are today. How do you think that exposure to real-world experience, like internships or hands-on learning, can benefit students in their education and future career choices?
Yeah, so I'm very upfront that my path was not perfect, right? I was kind of pushed to go to college. Like, that was the thing that was expected of me, right? So I went to school, and I had some mental health struggles where I had to take a break from going to college and kind of had to take a step back, right? Luckily, I went back and finished, which was great. But I was always pressured to live up to the standard that I necessarily maybe didn't always, want for myself. And finally, I'm in my early 30s. I've learned that it's okay to have a different path. It's okay to be passionate about something and go after what you want to do. And maybe it's not necessarily what your mom and dad or friends are doing, right? But as long as you're happy at the end of the day and you can hit the pillow and say, I did a good job, that's all that matters.
Do you have any memorable experiences or lessons you learned from interacting with young people? What messages do you try to pass on to the next generation, especially those going through some tough times?
So I'm so passionate about this age. When we entered, the middle school, one of my first majors was education, and I wanted to be a teacher. So I can still be very passionate about it in the sense that, especially in society today, we live, in a tough world out there. And so I just want to make young people like you three girls and this room feel comfortable enough in the sense that we're all just out there trying our best, right? Nobody's perfect. As long as you like what you're doing when you wake up every morning, and sometimes with a job, to be honest, my boyfriend reminds me of this, work isn't always fun either, right? Like, in the sense that as long sometimes if it pays your bills and, keeps you focused and you're gaining something out of it, that's all that matters. So I think it's really cool to see a classroom like this doing real life, real world skills instead of, not that there's anything wrong with doing algebra or any of the problems that they make you do, but this stuff is something that you can use again. Or, you know what I mean? If you decide to do the trades, you'll be like, oh, I remember when I was in 8th grade and I did that in the classroom. So I just think it's great for the kids.
All right, you shared that your journey wasn't always easy, from struggling with mental health to changing majors in college. What kept you going through those challenges, and what advice would you give to others who might feel lost or unsure about their future?
Yes. So, as I said, I'm very upfront about, my mental health, especially today. I think it's a huge topic, and I was not one of those ones, and I try to take a step back, to be honest, from social media sometimes, because as we know, I can compare myself to, where my friends were and where they are now, and they're all, married and have kids, and, that wasn't my journey, and I had a hard time with that for a while. But what I do have today? I have, I have freedom. I'm able to rely on myself, rely on Caitlin. I don't, rely on my parents. I don't, rely on any relationship. I'm able to wake up and support Caitlin day in, day out. And I will say, in order to do that, I had to put up boundaries with some of those experiences in my life that try to drag me down. I love saying, like, no isn't a complete answer. And if it doesn't suit me and what's best for me in my journey, then I decide to, rely on myself at the end of the day. And that's a really cool feeling.
In your opinion, do you believe introducing more middle school programs in the Philadelphia School District that focus on construction and trades will help fill the gaps in the construction industry and get more young people involved?
So, again, great question. We need people in the trades right now. We're going through a kind of a spot in the trades where a ton of people that started out are retiring, right? So we're always trying to get young people involved. My nephew goes to a school over in the suburbs, not too far from here, and he too does. He doesn't know what he wants to do, but he is not, too keen on college, and we're so supportive of him in the sense that, like, yeah, you want to do a trade, and he does kind of what you do here, except he's in high school, so he's able to do studies half during the day, and then he goes to a program where he does a trade, which is really cool, and he's learning how to remodel houses, and it's good for him, and he enjoys it, and I'm so proud of him in the sense that he stood up and took a different path that necessarily, like I said in the beginning, my family kind of set out for us, you know what I mean? Like, no, I want to do a trade, right? And we're supportive of that. And he's learning more than ever thanks to programs like this.
Caitlin, thank you so much for sharing your journey and wisdom with us today. Before we wrap up, is there anything you'd like to share with our audience or final piece of advice for students considering a career in the trades?
Yeah, so I want to thank you girls and all the guys behind the scenes, and thank you so much for having me. I'm just so impressed with you students, and willing to jump in and try new things. And I think this podcast is so great, and what great questions you had, and very, very thought out. And I just want you to know I'm your biggest cheerleader, right? And if you want to do something, set your mind to it, and I guarantee you, right, you'll be able to do it on the end. And the other side of uncomfortableness, right, is this place of content and being able to grow. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching this Dope Student Podcast episode.
Bye.